To those who are wondering what happened to the YouTuber badassgamez, or Matt, I will give a quick TLDR. First and foremost, Matt is fine as of early 2021. After almost a decade of making YouTube videos of the original Tomb Raider games, as well as streaming them, Matt has decided to delete his channels and end his run as badassgamez. This occurred near the end of 2020. As his channels were deleted along with a year's worth of content. He emailed a member of his community in early 2021 to explain what led to this when they had reached out to him. This was when Matt tried out using Rumble to have as an archive of his videos. On the screen is a summed up version of that email posted by that member, and it was confirmed to be true by Matt when I was able to message him sometime shortly after. He wanted to return to a normal life with a normal job and no longer create content, and he wishes that he approached this differently and spoke with some members of his community instead. As of early 2023, I would like to assume that he is doing fine and is continuing to get back in the groove with a regular job in the real world. For more information on all of this, we'll keep on watching and I will try my best to break things down. First off, who am I, and why am I making this video? Well, I'm Michael SK. I'm a small YouTuber that was inspired by Matt to pursue and make content about niches I care about, and that's what he did when he started up with the original Tomb Raider titles. Being a Tomb Raider fan myself, I came across his channel when I was still in high school, and I got the opportunity to work with him whenever he jumped over to streaming. I didn't do much except make terrible thumbnails for him in Microsoft Paint and Photoshop, but he seemed happy to have someone willing to help him out, and I was glad to do so. We even played some Smite together, and while my videos of those times are unlisted on my main channel, they were still fun times nonetheless. As Matt grew his community on Twitch and focused more on streaming, I drifted away from being your average fan to just supporting him from the sidelines for the next few years or so, until his channels mysteriously disappeared along with him. I am making this video to replace the two that I made on my main channel in early 2021 in order to help inform anyone that's looking for his videos, or if anyone is just curious about the course of events from my perspective. Secondly, I would like to talk about Mr. badassgamez himself. I remember coming across Matt's videos when he was still working on his Tomb Raider 4 playthrough, which had a bit of a hiatus in it as he focused on real-life responsibilities at that time. He eventually came back with more ambition to finish off the walkthroughs and jump into streaming. So when I started watching his content, he already did the first 3 games' worth of walkthroughs, and I believe some various other videos as well. People enjoyed his videos for his relaxing commentary and approachability. He was himself, both awkward, charming, and informative in his own ways. I don't know what the Tomb Raider community looked like back then, or even now really, but there were many who were on board with what Matt was creating on YouTube and eventually what he would be streaming on Twitch. Once he was done with all the original Tomb Raider walkthroughs, he focused more on streaming user-made Tomb Raider games using the Tomb Raider level editor, along with more challenges for the original games. I remember seeing him playing through the first game blind, like with a blindfold on. The guy was truly committed to the grind, and he made this a priority in his life, which is why it was shocking when he disappeared. In late 2020, I found that I was no longer in his Discord server, and that his channels had been deleted along with his social media. His community and I were understandably worried, looking for answers wherever we could. However, Matt was still a somewhat small creator and really only focused on one niche deal, so he wasn't widely known outside the Tomb Raider community. So I made a video asking what happened to him. I didn't know what else I could do, and Matt was truly one of the big inspirations for me to do what I liked. So I thought making a video would be a good way of pooling people together and hopefully getting an answer of some kind. I was then brought into a Discord server of refugees from his community working together to bring everyone back into one spot. There were older and newer members alike, and there was a good amount of reminiscing. But along with all of this, there were rumors. People like to assume facts when a truth is not present. It is how it is, and unfortunately, it was unavoidable here. It's also worth noting that people were also upset. Those that supported him for years, maybe even through Twitch subs or his Patreon, were left in the dark just like everyone else. Some probably felt like they were stabbed in the back by the creator they supported, so I can understand many having some pretty strong emotions here. In early 2021, we began to hear some noise. Matt brought his videos to Rumble, allowing people to watch his original Tomb Raider playthroughs on that platform. I believe his intention was to give his community an archive while he could still get some ad revenue. I also believe he just didn't like the state of YouTube and wanted his content off of there. These are just my thoughts though. Matt didn't keep his videos on Rumble for too long, eventually deleting his channel on there as well. But before he did, a member in charge of the Discord server I was brought into reached out to Matt to obtain some answers and information. He was able to get a reply back that answers a lot of questions. However, I don't have a screenshot of that email. All I have is what I showed earlier, which I'll throw on the screen again so you can read through it. Unfortunately, there was some drama that came up from one of the members in charge of that Discord server, and they were letting their emotions from all of this get the better of them. Therefore, in the end, only this summary is what was given while I was still in that server. I'll read a portion of the message aloud. From what he said in the email, he's doing okay. He's starting back at his old job sometime this month, February, with more pay and an improved job role. In the meantime, he made a bit of money off of cryptocurrency that he's been living off. The thing you're probably all interested in, the reason he left. He felt he would get more job satisfaction doing what he used to do as an electrical engineer than playing games for a living. He basically came to a realization that he's not getting any younger and he feels he should be focusing on a more stable and lucrative career. He also became uncomfortable with the idea of people such as myself and other people who donated, essentially propping up his channel and income. He said if he was a teenager without a degree, he would totally keep it up, but he's not, and he does have a degree. I asked if he had a message for the community, and he said, and I quote, "The only thing I regret is not coming out and talking about the situation going on and being upfront with my decision to leave. It was cowardly of me, and even now I feel terrible about it. I'm very sorry, especially to you and people like you who supported me so epically through the last few months." So Matt was still alive and well at this time. He just decided to hang up his content creation coat and move towards focusing on his life away from streaming. And that's perfectly understandable. I'm sure most people can agree with that being a totally fine move. After this message came out, I made a second video to act as a follow-up on my main channel, including the message and the drama that sprung up before this information was finally released. The goal of these two videos was to act as neutral as possible, trying to see things from both sides of this whole situation. However, by sharing the details of this drama, I began to stray more from my attempts at remaining neutral, which I greatly regret. My second video became less about badassgamez and more about drama in the remnants of his community, which wasn't right. As I stated earlier, people were bound to have a mixed amount of feelings regarding all of this, and that is very understandable as well. Everyone deserves to be able to share how they feel regarding Matt leaving like he did, especially if they were a longtime supporter. But as I stated in my second video, no one's opinion or feelings should outweigh others in the community. It led to attempts of control and an attempt of becoming more important in the community, creating unnecessary drama. While all of this drama was unfortunate to have going on, I should not have brought it up. I'm bringing it up now in order to help explain everything that happened as much as I can remember it, and to also apologize for how I addressed things in that video. Does that make the actions those members took okay? No, definitely not. But just like those members shouldn't have been trying to create a sense of importance in their opinions and reactions above the rest of the community, I should not have been including all of that from my perspective as my role as a neutral messenger. After this video went up, Matt hopped back on Discord and messaged me. I do realize that this might seem a bit unbelievable, but he did reach out after my second video went out and grabbed the community's attention just like the first one did. Matt told me that he was down for an interview to set all records straight and to officially leave badassgamez behind. I wish I saved more of my DMs to prove that he did message me, because the one screenshot I have of our messages is one that I won't share in its entirety. While I was still coming up with questions that he was screening and preparing for, he reached out again and told me that he was backing out. He had also decided to not prepare a final statement of any sort, so this video and what I'm discussing shouldn't be perceived as a statement from him. Many people were still very unhappy with how he went about things, and like I said before, began to spread rumors. This went even further with allegations and terrible remarks being made of him by some. Without going into the details of what Matt told me, he was unhappy with those that made him out to be the bad guy when he simply wanted to return to his regular life with a regular job. Did he go about all of this correctly? In my opinion, no. But to make him out to be a villain after all these years of making content for thousands and thousands of people just isn't right, no matter how you look at it. I believe some of the accusations came from him using Rumble as an alternative to YouTube, as that is typically seen as a far-right video uploading platform. But so what? As sketchy as that site looks, he was still willing to have his content up for people to refer back to. But I can understand him having second thoughts when he continues to be told that he is in the wrong for doing what he wants here. But here's the other side of it. The majority don't really hold these grudges against Matt. I would be surprised if the majority of his community was out to get him, when I'm sure it was just a bunch of bad eggs that allowed their emotions to get the best of them. Again, everyone has the right to express their feelings from all of this, but to attack someone when they're trying to right their wrongs is just terrible. After Matt messaged me, that was the last I heard of him. It has now been more than 2 years since all of this, and I have decided to delete the videos I made on my main channel and have this one remain on my second channel. I feel like I failed as a neutral messenger, and it wasn't right for these videos to be up on my main channel in the first place. I want to note that in these 2 years that these videos have been up, I've accumulated about 15,000 views on each and have never monetized them. I kept the comments open, only deleting hateful comments and attempts of advertising. After a bit of this video being up on YouTube, I will delete those videos, leaving this as my sole attempt of getting information out to those looking for badass games. Before ending this video, I would like to address my final thoughts as an attempted neutral party again, along with something else. As I said from the very beginning, this was not the best way for Matt to go about this. I can understand wanting to step away from your content creation lifestyle, but many truly relied on the videos that he put out, and even donated their time and money to support him. It wasn't right to remove it all without warning, so I understand how many feel about the sudden disappearance of everything, but I also get why he did it. He wanted to return to how his life was before Badass Games and focus on his future, and I'm sure there could have been concerns about his time as Badass Games coming back to affect him. He wanted to dip out, and he did, just a little too suddenly. I'm glad that he tried to do something to archive his videos for people, but I wish he communicated more. A lot of trouble could have been avoided for sure, but his mental state could have had a part in all of this. Depression, stress, and so much more can affect our ability to make good decisions and lead us to making rash ones, which could have been the case here in many ways. But that's even more reason why people should have been more patient and understanding of what we were seeing. We all wanted answers, and they didn't come immediately. There's still no reason to turn against someone that you have supported. The bad eggs that went after him most likely led to his second guessing on providing his videos on another platform, which is unfortunate for all parties here. I do think he should have shut out the noise, but it's his content and his decision to make. As Matt has now walked away from creating content, I hope the remnants of his community and those that were fans of him can continue to remember him as a great content creator. At the end of the day, he's as human as we all are. And we should also respect that he wanted to end his time as a content creator. You don't have to agree with how things went down, but that doesn't mean you should throw all your respect for him in the trash. He was a unique content creator that made solid content for a very specific group of people, and I'm sure the Tomb Raider community will never be the same with his presence erased from YouTube and Twitch. One last thing that I wanted to bring up is that you can watch a select amount of walkthroughs that he did on a fan-run Tomineer website. I won't link it here, but searching up Badass Games on Google will probably bring it up. It's an archive run by fans that is totally fine by Matt. What probably isn't fine by him are YouTube channels that have popped up recently using his name and face to either impersonate or act as tribute channels. The channels you see on YouTube that are titled Badass Games are run by other people and could even be running ads on his own content. It's your choice where you want to watch his older videos, but just keep in mind that one place has the thumbs up, while the YouTube channels have nothing but potential greed. Plus, these are the channels that have attempted to advertise on my first 2 videos on my main channel, so take that as you will. Thank you for listening in, and I hope I was able to help you all. Again, this information is as I recalled it, so some things may not be the most accurate. But if anything, you can walk away from here knowing that Matt is most likely okay and back at it with a real-world job. Matt, if you ever tune into this video, thanks for the years of making content as Badass Games. All the best to you and what you end up doing in the future. I'm sure the bulk of your community will continue to root for you. Just make sure to take it easy as well.